Okay, we'll call our meeting to order. First item is roll call. Diane?
Mayor Skoog.
Present.
Councilmember Anderson.
Here.
Councilmember Grossman.
I'm here.
Councilmember Mallory.
Here.
Councilmember Nye, or Vice Mayor Nye, excuse me. Here. Councilmember Whiting.
I'm here. Thank you.
Councilmember Rooney is here.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mayor.
Thank you, Diane. Okay, next item is discussion, census update. Joe, you're going to tell us all about it?
Not too much.
Start it tonight.
What's that?
Are you going to start?
We'll start counting everybody in here. Yes, we'll count everybody in here and report that. Anyway, I gave you some background information in your packet, and Richard just wanted to give you an update on some of the preliminary work we're doing to make sure we're ready for the census and we get the best count we can to get the most people we can. And we'll just let you know. We'll keep you updated as we go along. So unless there's any questions, we'll keep you posted on any progress.
Okay. Anything else, Joe?
Nope.
Just that simple. Any questions, anyone?
Keep it short and sweet.
Okay, I know we're not going door to door this year. How are we assuring that we get a good count?
Well, there will be a combination. There will be usually there'll be a process. They will have a process to respond through the internet, some responses. But then again, if there are not, don't get responses based on the addresses we give them, they will do field follow-up to make sure they get a response. So,
Marty?
Yeah, having been involved with the Census Bureau at least 4 times during my career with the post office, it's a lot of times we would give them the information of all the households on our route, okay, and we knew who lived in what houses, and we would give them all this great information, and then when the actual census came out, they never used what we gave them. So how are you going to guarantee that all this information that you're gathering for them will be used?
It is a multi-step process. So the first step we're doing now with the LUCA program is the local address update. Is we'll be taking a list they used in 2010, plus they update that occasionally. So we will be reviewing all those and match them, against what we know to be all addresses for all residences out there. And we provide that to them. Then they give us back, as we get closer to the census, they give us back, again, the full list they have. And then we get to actually verify what they will be using to contact people. So it's a 2-step, and then we also get to add in any last-minute development that occurs, and so we make sure we have a full list. But we'll be able to actually verify what they will be using and that it matches what we have.
Good to know. Thank you.
Good. Any other comments, questions? Larry?
Yes, Mayor and Council, one thing that will be different with this census, or at least the results of this census, is that state shared revenues, which are allocated based on population, there was an administrative move a couple of years ago where we are receiving annual updates from both the Census Bureau and the state. And so before, when you would only have your population update every 10 years, decadal census, or mid-decadal census, you would see significant swings. And that's not going to happen with this census because we are getting those annual updates. So I think you'll have much better information because of the amount of work that is put into the census. But nevertheless, before, we would see huge swings in the decadal census, and you won't see that this year.
Well, for instance, Larry, I think you probably saw that Ryan sent out some of the latest state estimates, which showed us well ahead of Prescott. Correct.
Any other questions or comments? Anything else, Joe?
Nope, that's it.
Get her counted.
You posted.
Thanks, Joe. Okay, we move on to number 4, discussion, prioritize community development block grant project. Are you doing that tonight, or is Ryan? I don't see Ryan here.
Ryan's not here, and I believe Norm is. Are you doing that, Norm? Okay. Here.
So what do we do? Shall we table this one for next
No,
week?
if we could, and Ryan is unable to be here as he is out of state. And taking a look at the RFCA on this, there was a public hearing where we considered pedestrian street improvements to Civic Center between Windsong and Civic Circle. And per state guidelines, a project must be discussed at this initial public hearing in order to be considered for funding. And that is one of the hoops that Ryan has set out for us. This is not a public hearing. This is just an explanation that we are going to have a public hearing where you're going to be asked to see if you want to move forward with the multi-use path, which is being worked on right now in terms of engineering. And it's one of the hoops that we need to jump through.
Good. Any questions or comments, anyone? No. Anything else to that, Larry?
Yes, and that is that, as you are all aware, that there are many organizations, depending on which round of CDBG money we're in, and if this is our regular turn to receive roughly $500,000 to $600,000 from CDBG without a competitive process, then what you have is an invitation for community groups to go ahead and come before you, and then you end up prioritizing. I would like to remind you that in 2004, I was asked as your interim town manager to go ahead and begin weaning all of the very outstanding social service groups away from using town funds to go ahead and support those organizations, and in fact use the town sales tax dollars for hard infrastructure, streets, sidewalks, Boys and Girls Club facilities that would survive certainly decades rather than 12 months of an operational budget for a very good organization, but nevertheless the money's then gone. And so we have a history of, quite frankly, that goes well further back than 2004, of buying sidewalks and buying things that will serve the community forever. So just a reminder of that.
Good, thank you. Anything else, anyone? Okay, thank you, Larry. We'll move on to number 5, discussion, utility billing and lockbox service. Mark, you are up.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Town Council. I'm here to talk to you to get a little sheet going on. We're here to talk to you about basically entering into a new contract with a new company for our outsourced billing services and extending and renewing a contract that we currently have with a company for our payment processing. It's an outsourced service as well. The reason why we're doing this, we currently have over 18,000 bills go out monthly through the mail. There's a lot of things that go with that: postage, envelopes, or remittance envelope, the printing of the bills themselves. We added the 4-page Color Town newsletter in this last fiscal year, along as also not including what it takes manpower-wise to get this all completed on a very strict schedule. To do it in a timely manner. With the lockbox side of it, so when people send us their payments by postal mail, it goes to a P.O. box for a company that gathers these thousands of payments on a monthly basis and is able to process them in a matter of minutes, maybe an hour, depending on the length of time or the bulk amount that they have. What they are also able to do is take those payments, image them, and then also send us those payments via wire. That way the town is able to collect that bill money within a few hours rather than a few days. Part of that process is that mail is delivered to the processor. They open it, they sort it, they scan it through their machines. They're able to take a scanned image of it and upload it to an archive. So we have that for research purposes if we ever need to bring up a check that someone might have in question. It has different technologies. It can detect handwriting if you handwrite your check, printed lettering if you use a typewriter or send a check by cashier's check, that type of stuff, and also if it's printed through a machine. These are delivered to us by email twice a day, and we process them in customer accounts. We're averaging probably about 1,000 to 1,200 payments a day that we're able to process in about 10 minutes. So think of that speed of that and how efficient that can be. A few months ago, we created a proposal and sent it to different companies in the area and also out of state of people who showed interest in competing for this. We currently use CDS Global. They are based out of Iowa, but they do have a hub in Prescott over by the airport. We have been with them for coming up on 8 years this June. They responded to it along with one other company that wanted to try to be competitive. The reason why we did this is because we're going on 8 years with CDS, we want to make sure that we're giving our customers in the town the best rate possible for services like these that we will shop around for every couple years. So we were very pleased with the results from CDS Global, our current provider, and then also a competitor, Bank Up. They're located out of Alameda, California. We basically took the parameters that we're needing and wanting to maintain the current services that we are receiving and priced them out on a per item basis. So as you can see, the transaction services might read like kind of ancient Greek to you, but what they are is just different processes that these companies use to take those payments, archive them, send and wire those monies over. So as you can see, when it comes down to a monthly cost, CDS remains the best competitive vendor for that, and then on the yearly end, even more so by keeping out at our current rate, which would save us over $5,000 a year had we wanted to switch. We did the same thing with the billing and print services. So we generate our bills based on our customers' water consumption, send these files over. That bill is then printed out, stuffed in an envelope, mailed out. We did the same comparison. We had a company, InfoSend, based out of California. CDS is currently our provider for this service. They put in their bid as well. And then a one-touch point based out of Tempe. Now, doing those same items needed to complete these jobs, we itemize those out. One thing that was added is the 4 full-page town newsletter. We're currently taking that file over to Sir Speedy, printing it out, then delivering it to CDS. In this quote, we got what it would take for these companies to do that for us and at what cost and at what quality. We were very happy to see all of them responded with it. I believe Larry would back me up, but he was even more pleased at the quality of the image and then also the price of the image. That in itself, all the companies competing would be at the same cost, if not at a savings. When we plugged in all those numbers and see who could provide these services the best way for us, InfoSend, based out of California, is a company that's on a monthly and annual basis looking to save us a significant amount of money. CDS is still very competitive as well, but when it comes down to the brass tacks of it, we can possibly get more services with InfoSend for a lot better rate. So our recommendations for these two different services on the billing services, we do recommend entering into the new contract with InfoSend. Reason being is because they had the lowest price points on those per item, saving us the most amount of money on a monthly and annual basis. We would continue to receive a very good discount on our postage rather than the 49 cents or 50 cents of what it is for any one of us to mail it. We would get it at 37.5 cents per piece of mail. So it's a very big savings. They have a portal which allows us to upload our billing files 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, rather than having it at a certain time frame where we have to do these file transfers. We're able to customize messages onto our bills. One example I like to use is, dump day's coming up on May 5th. Why not put that on the bill? So that way everyone looks at their water bill, it's a second reminder. It's going to be on the town news, but why not have that extra reminder? And InfoSend is also the preferred vendor by our current database provider, Superion. On the lockbox side, with CDS Global being local, we keep the same local P.O. box address for our remittance envelopes to go to. On the lockbox services side, they provided us with the best rates. We're currently set up with them, so there would be no transitional period with getting things in line. It's going to be basically a continuity rather than a transition with them. With that, any questions, comments, concerns I might be able to address?
No, I just always appreciate saving money for the town, which of course goes right back to the taxpayers. So
Exactly.
Good work. Thank you.
Good. Any other questions? CDS has been a good company, haven't they?
Yes, it's been a wonderful company.
Any other comments, questions? So I don't know how I feel to change companies, but I hope they'll do the job.
Thank you.
Okay, Mark brings this back to us. What, in a
I
week
will bring
or
it
two?
back next week. Thank you very much.
Questions, comments? Thanks, Mark. Good job. Keep it up. Okay, the next item, number 6, adjournment. What is? Did I miss one?
No, that's sad. No.
Okay. So I guess we're going to adjourn for a few minutes and give Diane time to load up the